What's going on, guys? Time to talk about another thriller type film from 1944. This one's called Delinquent Daughters. Now, this is one of those films that are considered taboo subjects to talk about in film and TV. And back in like the 30s, 40s, and 50s, I have a whole collection of them that I want to check out, and so I'm going to be telling you about them as I go through it. But yeah, so this one was released in 1944, starring June Carlson, Fifi Dorsey, and Taylor Loring, written by Arthur Sinclair and produced and directed by Albert Herman, who's also done films like The Clutching Hand, Danger at Hand, The Big Chance, Renfro of the Royal Mounted. Yeah, so this guy has like a lot more westerns and stuff as his film background and stuff, but this was like a thriller that he did. And Delinquent Daughters, basically, you follow a group of young women who are like high school students, basically, and they start hanging out with the wrong crowd. They're hanging out with guys that are like members of a gang, and basically the bad boys, and they're like all into that and stuff like that, and they slowly start like picking up the habits of partying, doing drugs, and yeah, and the parents just don't care. They're just like not giving them discipline or anything like that. They're just letting them run about, and they end up going, it escalates from that to petty theft to a bigger crime that happens in the middle of the film. It's a little bit predictable, but yeah, it was amusing to see, and yeah, and it takes a lot of encouragement from like a judge and law figures to encourage the parents to discipline their kids and stuff in this situation, and it leads to a lot of weird things, and the girls get into some pretty sticky situations, and they try to wiggle their way out of it, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and yeah, it gets pretty hectic and stuff near by the 3/4 mark. Overall, this film was decent. It's a decent thriller. It's a little more serious than the like Reefer Madness that I talked about of it, and it's more commonplace than some of the other ones that I probably will talk about later on in the future. But yeah, this one, it was entertaining. I didn't really care very much for the characters. The characters aren't built up very well. Um, they are relatable if you're like in the teens or 20 range, 20-year-old range. A lot of people that age act like this and stuff. It's basically just like trying to scare the younger generation into trying to be a little more model and stuff. But everyone needs to go through that, I think. This sort of phase, you kind of have to like go through it to understand it and to build upon it. So everyone has it, goes through it, and stuff like that. So, but overall, the film is pretty well done, except for about 15 minutes of this film because they shot some night scenes with no lights. So all you see is the hats and hear the people talking. So that was a big flag, and it ends up dragging the film down quite a bit because that's where like the main big problem happens and stuff, and you can't even see it. That's one problem with like these lower budget films from the early 30s, 40s, and 50s. Is sometimes the lighting's pretty terrible, and I think that's the big flaw with this. The acting's not too bad. The story, pretty basic, but it gets its point across. But overall, it was still amusing, but it's definitely nothing over the top or that stands out dramatically from the rest. This is your typical 40s thriller type structure, and but it made its point. So, Delinquent Daughters is an okay film in my opinion. But besides that, and the poor lighting and stuff, and that it drags, it's a slow burn, but it is what it is, right? So I'm gonna give Delinquent Daughters a 2.5 out of 5. Yeah, so it was alright. I'll try to find like a trailer or clip or something of it so you can check it out. And I'll link it down below. But yeah, there's a lot better ones out there, but this is one of those taboo films I found that I wanted to check out. It sounded alright, but it was okay. So yeah, but it sounds like something you're interested in. I'll try to link something down below. I think you can find it on YouTube for free if I can. I'll link it down below so you can check it out. Also, check out my Instagram down below too, where I post clips of film and review in the future on my story, and I usually have the title and hashtag somewhere in the video clip, so you can either guess or figure or just see what I'm watching. And I'm going to be talking about in the future, so make sure you follow me on Instagram, stay in the loop. Oh, and I also put the subgenre film in the video clip as well, so in case it's something you're not interested in or something, you're aware of it, because I'm a nice guy like that. So yeah, make sure you follow me on Instagram, stay in the loop. Yeah, so comment down below if you've seen this film. Let me know what you thought of it. Do you think it's generic like I did, or do you actually really love this film or something? I'd love to hear your opinions on it, so make sure you comment them down below. And also, if you have any films at all that you want to hear my opinions on, comment those down below too. I'll try my hardest to get to them as soon as I can in the future, and if I can find them. So yeah, make sure you comment those down below, and make sure you like this video, share it so more people are aware of it, and make sure you subscribe, because you never know what I'm going to talk about next. Even though I am working through some taboo subjects and stuff from the 30s and 40s, I think I'm going to stick with that, but we'll see. I always change my mind, so you never know. But till the next review, cheers.